Hi guys, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to Nikki's Kitchen. Finally, the long requested video is here. This is my what I eat in a day video, and I like to start my mornings by drinking water before I move on to making breakfast. On this day, I had a smoothie bowl for breakfast, but before we get started, let's take a minute to appreciate the newest member into the Nikki's Kitchen family. My cousin got me a set of these knives for my birthday, and they've been my favorite things ever since. I like to add vegetables to my smoothie for the added fiber. So on this day, my vegetable of choice was broccoli stems, the thing that's at the bottom of a head of broccoli. What I do with this is I peel them, get the hard bit off, cut them into bite-sized pieces, place them on a pan and cover them with water, and blanch them until I can pass a knife through them. Then I run them under some cold water to cool them, then add them to my smoothies. By using up the broccoli stems in my smoothies, I reduce my food wastage, and I actually just found out that this bit is edible. I didn't know that, and I used to throw this part out, but not anymore. And you don't just have to use the stem in your smoothies. You can do the same process that I'm showing you here, then use the stem as you do the broccoli head. I've put enough water to cover the broccoli stems halfway, and I'll leave this for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're cooked through. Then to my blender, I'm adding watermelon, banana, and the cooled broccoli stems, alongside a little bit of water. I don't need to add too much since watermelons contain a lot of water. Then I'll blend this up and pour my smoothie into a bowl. Then I'll add my toppings. I'm topping my smoothie bowl with my homemade granola, desiccated coconut, and a few banana coins. And breakfast is served. I try to have a side of vegetables with my meals, and this is how I usually prep my broccoli. Cut it up into florets and place a serviette on top to help it stay fresh. I'm going to blanch my broccoli as I did with the broccoli stems. For the chickpea sandwich, I'm going to attempt to make a homemade mayonnaise, and I'm getting the recipe from this cookbook. It's called 250 Recipes for Healing and Prevention. We've had this book at home for years, but I've never really paid much attention to it until recently. I guess quarantine has all of us reading a lot more. And after reading it, I actually discovered that it's a vegan cookbook, which is really exciting because I've been trying to reduce the amount of meat that I eat and transition into more vegan recipes. So the mayonnaise recipe calls for garlic, salt, lemon juice, soy milk, and cooking oil. So I'll start off by prepping the ingredients. I'm also cutting up an onion that I'll use in the chickpea mash. I recently read that if you first cut off the bottom part of the onion, followed by the top part, this is going to prevent your eyes from getting teary. But this was clearly a lie because I almost cried while cutting these onions. So if you know any remedy that I can use for that, kindly let me know down in the comments section because a girl is really suffering. I'm soaking my onions in salt and hot water to get rid of the bitterness, and while those soak, I'll go ahead and prepare my mayonnaise. Look at how thick and creamy this mayonnaise is, and the best part is that it actually tastes like mayonnaise, and this recipe makes this entire jar of mayonnaise. I shall keep you guys updated on how long this will last without going bad. I'm now going to work on my chickpeas, and to open the can, simply pull this contraption backwards, then pull it upwards, and this will open your can. I've gone ahead to drain and rinse my chickpeas, and I'm going to mash them using a fork. The fork actually ended up taking too long for me, so I moved on to the bigger gun, aka my potato masher. And I'm using canned chickpeas here, but you can also use dry and boiled chickpeas. To this, I'm going to add the onions that were soaking, along with a few heaped teaspoons of the homemade mayonnaise. I'm also going to add this CHICKPEA garlicky twist hot sauce. I'll add just a few drops because this hot sauce is really potent. Then I'll give everything a really good mix. Then I'll add a pinch of salt, give it one final mix, then I'll get my bread ready. I'm using these really thin burger buns as my bread, and I'm going to lightly toast those on a pan. This step is completely optional, it just adds a little bit of texture to the bread. After taking the bread off the pan, I'll add a generous helping of the chickpea mash onto the bread, top it off with a few tomato slices, then add the top slice to complete my sandwich. I'm sprinkling a pinch of salt onto the tomatoes, then I'll add a few more drops of the hot sauce, then I'll cover my sandwich, and not forgetting the broccoli, I'll also add that onto the side of my plate. And there we have it, lunch is now served. I thought I'd start off by showing you how to make pasta, because in my previous pasta recipe, one of you guys mentioned that your spaghetti never turned out right. So you want to make sure that your water is boiling hot. Add some salt into it, then toss your pasta into the water. I'm using whole wheat pasta, that's why my pasta looks a bit brown. Next, using my pasta spoon, I'm going to gently push the spaghetti into the water. And from here, you just need to follow the packaging directions. Mine said to cook for 9 minutes. So you want to do that while stirring occasionally to prevent the pasta from sticking together. Once the pasta is ready, you want to drain it. Then pour cold water over the pasta to stop it from continuing to cook. And it's that simple. Moving on to the bolognese, I have onion, garlic, ginger, bell pepper, dhania and tomatoes that I'm going to prep, alongside some minced meat that I have browning on a pan. And I forgot to mention, bolognese is just a fancy name for a minced meat sauce. Normally when I'm cooking minced meat, I don't add any oil to my pan because I find that minced meat is already oily enough as is. So I'm simply breaking the minced meat into small bits and browning it until it looks like this. And at this point, it's already fully cooked. So I'm going to add a pinch of salt to the minced meat. Turn the salt through the meat, then take the meat off the pan so that I can get started on my veggies. All of this oil has come from the minced meat, hence why I don't add any oil to this dish. So I'll toss my onion, ginger, garlic and dhania stems into the pan. Add a pinch of salt to help the onions cook down. Turn everything through the pan and leave this to cook until the onions soften. Afterwards, I'll go in with my tomatoes and a pinch of salt. I'll turn this through, then I'll cover it so that the tomatoes can cook down. The tomatoes are fully cooked and malleable. As you can see, I can easily break them down with the back of my wooden spoon. I'll go in with half a tablespoon of tomato paste and some water to help soften the tomato paste down. I'll stir this in, ensure everything is well combined. I'll then add my bell pepper and let this simmer for a few minutes until the bell pepper is cooked down. Afterwards, I'll turn the heat off and transfer this to my blender. This step is completely optional, but since we have a picky eater in the family, I wanted to blend this down for them. Once it's all blended, I'll return the sauce onto the pan and go in with my spices. I'm using a teaspoon of cumin and paprika each and half a teaspoon of black pepper alongside some salt. I'll toss the spices in until they're well incorporated. Lastly, I'll go in with a 1/4 cup of maziwa mala to make the sauce nice and creamy, alongside dhania leaves. I'll stir this two to combine. Then I'll add the beef back into the saucepan and turn the beef through the sauce. If you've watched till this far, kindly comment bolognese down below as you tell me what other type of videos you'd like to see on my channel. And this is it. This was my dinner. I served the sauce on top of the spaghetti alongside some of that leftover broccoli from lunchtime. And that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.